Hi, it's Teresa from Dodge Nature Center, and time for another Nature to Go. When you head outside for a hike, you start looking around, and what you kind of notice is the lack of color. Now, there's a lot of white this time of year. And there's browns and tans and grays. And we have beautiful blue skies. But there isn't a lot of variety of colors. And you might be walking along kind of getting tired of the same old colors when all of a sudden you start to notice green. Yeah, in the distance, there's those kinds of trees that stay green all year long. In fact, we call them evergreens. But when you look at them up close, you realize not all evergreens are alike. So how do we keep track of which kind of evergreen is which? That's what we're going to talk about this week on Nature to Go. We're going to talk about 4 kinds of evergreens and an easy way to remember the differences among them. Spruces are spiky. Firs are friendly. Cedars are scaly. And pines come in packets. Now, what does that mean? We're going to explain that. What we're going to focus on are the needles that are on these trees. Now, the needles are a type of leaf. They're just a modified leaf. They don't look like the big flat leaves we're used to on deciduous trees. We're not going to worry about the cones because another name that these trees often have are conifers. That'll be for another episode of Nature to Go. If you walk up to a spruce tree and grab a hold of that branch, it's going to hurt because the tips of the needles are all pointed. It's spiky. The other thing that's kind of neat about the needles, they're not round. They may look it, but if you pull one off and try to roll it between your fingers, it doesn't roll. They have edges. Now compare that to a fir tree. We said firs are friendly. Actually, firs are flat, fast, and friendly. If you grab the branches of fir trees, you'll notice it doesn't hurt because the tips of the needles are rounded. The needles are also very flat. And when you look on the underside of the needle, there's a white line. Supposedly this is a racing stripe, like on a race car. So you can shake hands with a fir tree and not regret it. These are cedar trees. And cedars, we said, are scaly. They don't have needles the way you recognize them on spruce or fir trees or even pine trees. This is kind of an interesting tree because people long ago figured out that by making a tea from those scales, you could get vitamin C, which would help combat scurvy. So this tree is also sometimes known as arborvitae, the tree of life. And our 4th evergreen are the pine trees. Notice their needles, long and thin. And they come in bundles, or packets, if you will. That's why we say pines are in packets. Depending on what kind of pine tree it is, there's a different number of needles in each one. These are white pines, and what's kind of neat is when you think of the word white, W-H-I-T-E, there's 5 letters, there's 5 needles in the bundle. That's how you know it's a white pine. So head outside on a winter's hike. Don't worry that there aren't a lot of colors. Start looking for those evergreens. But now you'll know, are you looking at spruces or firs or cedars or pines? Practice your identification skills. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Nature to Go, and we'll talk to you again next time.